Hello, welcome to my channel. We've got a little sun here and I don't know how to fix this, so we're just going with it right now. I am the official wine taster, just so you know. Thank you to Katie. I am drinking the Cupcake Moscato d'Asti. Actually, this is from Katie's sister. So thank you, Lindsay. It's sweet. It's sweet. Since we're drinking very, what I would consider like kind of a basic wine, I thought we could do some basic makeup today. Now, I have already filmed this video. I got ready to edit this video. You know what? You know what? I filmed it in slow motion. And so help me, Flying Spaghetti Monster. This is continuing to use my Shop My Stash makeup. And so I thought we could play around with this palette. This is the Limoncello palette from Colourpop. One of my favorite neutral palettes, as you can see. Thought we could play around with some of this, do a very soft, natural look, and then maybe add a little extra sparkle with some maybe JD Glow. We're gonna see what we come up with. I don't really remember what I did in my first video, so now we're gonna try this again. It's gonna be a whole new look, or whole different look. Even though I am doing a more natural look, I am still gonna prime, so I'm using my NYX Face Glue Gripping Primer. I wouldn't say this is as gripping as like Milk's Gripping Primer. But it's pretty decent. I usually use this. I would say like if you have drier skin, this might work better than that one, because I do find that it is a little more oily. I wouldn't say it's as grippy though, like it doesn't feel as tacky on the skin as the Milk does. But since I'm doing like a natural look, I thought I would use that, since I'm really not going anywhere. As far as I know, I'm not going anywhere today. So as soon as that sun moves completely behind the tree, we're gonna be golden. Also, even though I'm doing a natural look, I am still gonna prime my eyes. Priming, no matter what, keeps your eyeshadow on your eyes. So I always use the MAC Paint Pot in Painterly. I've been using this. It's probably my favorite eye primer. I've been using it for a couple years now, and I always feel like this is the not only the most long wearing primer for me, but also this might be like $28, this little pot, but it goes a long way. It lasts forever. Also, I believe that these are just cream eyeshadows, really. So you could do like one and done with any of the colors. And I have looked into getting other colors. I believe they have some like shimmery formulas too, so maybe something to look to if you're looking for like just a one and done shadow. If you want to see like a video on one and done shadows, I'm happy to do that. I might not have like every eyeshadow that you might be able to access, but I can give you like ideas of what to look for in those. So, eyes are primed, face is primed. Let's get into the eyeshadow. This is just my attempt at doing neutral look. And I can do a neutral look, or natural look, but I tend to like bolder, more colorful looks. I will say that I get the most compliments on like more like browns and stuff on my eye, probably because of my skin tone and my hair color, but I think it's more fun to play with colors. So I'm going to start with this color here. It's called Vespa. As you can see, I really like it. It is a more neutral brown. However, on me, it does pull a little warm because I do have like a slightly warmer undertone. This is maybe a little warmer than it would be on the average person. So I'm just putting that in my crease, Using a big fluffy brush to cover all the area to make it nice and blown out. I'm just putting this in my crease so that I have a little bit of something to work with when I go just ever so slightly darker. Now that we're getting into the darker shade, I'm going into Semifreddo. It's this color right here. It's another one that I've hit pan on. I'm picking that up very gently, but I'm gonna just like tap it on my little cloth here so that it's not super heavy. And as you can see, when you do that, I'm getting a nice, just gentle deepening. Adding just a touch more. It's always good to start out very light and then slowly build. And I'm putting that in the outer V area. And then I'm kind of just like doing little swirl motions and just above the crease as well. And I'm going back into my fluffy brush without cat hair. And I'm going to blend that out a bit. And now the sun's moving. Natural light is great in the afternoon, but when it's this time of day, it's shockingly bright. That's better. Okay. I think we've controlled the sun here. Okay, let's finish this eye now. So every few seconds I'm like assessing and kind of going away, coming back, seeing how I like it, seeing if I need to adjust the shape. Again, going back in with my fluffy brush to diffuse those edges. I'm not picking up any extra product, just diffusing a bit. I think this one needs a little bit more. And there's the sun again, dang it. Come on, bro. I think we've got a nice evenness to it. This is probably a lot darker than most people will go, but I'm not most people, right? So I am going to pick up a little more of Vespa on my brush because I would like to brush this out just a bit on both sides. Yeah. Next, what I'm going to use, that not a lot of people use, but I would recommend getting a glitter primer. This works for any shimmer. It doesn't have to be glitter necessarily, but any shimmer, it's going to help you. It's going to help keep those shimmers on your eyes. Especially if you have older eyes, shimmer tends to move around a little bit more. So, I usually put it right here in the front. About 3/4 in. Stop where just a little bit over where the dark shadow begins. Now, if we're going natural, I'm probably gonna go for this color right here. It's called Easy Peasy. It is a really pretty duochrome for Colourpop. You can kind of see the shifts on that. It's kind of green, gold, orange, gold, green. I don't know. It's pretty. So I usually pick it up just with my finger. For me, that's what works best. And I'm going to start it from right where I ended that glitter primer. I'm putting it right there to about a little past the middle. Dark shadow doesn't necessarily mean you're going full glam. This is what I'm comfortable with. This is my attempt at natural makeup. Doesn't mean this is what you have to do. You can tone it down even more. Now, I am going to go back into Semifreddo, the brown shade, and I'm just going back over the edge where the matte meets the shimmer to kind of blend it in a bit so that it's not such a harsh line. Now I'm gonna go into Touring. It is a beautiful light, almost yellow shimmer. It's nice and bright though, which I love. I'm gonna use my finger again. I'm putting that on the front portion of my eye and meeting it up with that other shimmer. Now, you can leave it like this. I choose to go a little more fun. So with this color, I am going to go in with a brush because it is very flaky. I'm afraid to like hold this completely up because there are some shadows that are broken that I haven't cleaned up yet. So I'm using this one right here. I'll grab it for you. So I'm gonna use this color right here. It is from JD Glow. I don't think they're in business anymore, so don't go look them up. But it is called Unexpected. It's one of the most beautiful shadows in the world. White gold. It's very pretty. So I'm gonna put that in the innermost part of my eye. The inner corner. And I like to use shadows like these that are more, it's still like on the neutral side, but it is very sparkly. And I like to use these like on the front portion of my eye just because it makes my eye really pop. So since I've already primed, I always do my eyes first because I'm messy. But since I'm already primed, we'll go ahead and do my foundation. And today I'm going to be using this Typology serum tint, tinted serum. I am, of course, fair. I'm white as paper, so we're gonna be fair. This is very light coverage, does not last very long, especially on me because I do have oilier skin. I use it on days where I'm not wearing makeup for very long, or if I just want to put something on quick and just have like a little bit of a base on, I wear this. So that's what we're going to be using today. And since we're going for a more natural look, that is what we're going to pick. And like I said, it is a serum, so it's going to be pretty thin, just to let you know. What I do is I put a little on my hand, I stipple it with my brush, and stipple it again, so that you get a nice thin layer to start. I don't like putting my makeup on just on the skin immediately or like rubbing it in because I feel like I don't really have I don't have very much control. This way I can start with a thin layer, build if I want to, and I really just push it into the skin. I've been doing this for a long time. I'm always looking for tips and tricks for especially my skin type because I have trouble like with makeup staying on my face, even with a primer. I am worried about, you know, foundations sticking. So I always start with a small layer. And then again, I just take what's on my hand, dab, 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 and then add more. Usually that's enough. I did like 2 drops. I'm gonna do like half a drop for my forehead. And then once I have like one layer down, I'll go back over to really push it into the skin, because that's what helps like longevity and like a more like skin look for me anyway. If you have if you have drier skin, I mean, this works for me. I have oily skin, and like I said, this works if I'm just doing like light coverage. I'm not worried about my makeup lasting all day. I use this. If you have drier skin, this might work better on your skin. Concealer. Normally I would go in with my color correcting concealer first, and I use the Milani Under Eye Brightener. I'm not like the biggest fan of it, but if you have any suggestions, let me know. I don't really feel like I need it super, like a lot today, because I don't have dark circles too bad. I slept maybe about 20 some hours yesterday, it felt like it. So maybe I'm well rested. Also, it's like 4 o'clock in the evening, so. But so I am going in with my Typology Serum Concealer. I am in also Fair. This has caffeine in it, so it does like, it's supposed to like wake up your skin. It's also not one of my favorite concealers, but I am trying to use it up, and I got a long way to go. Again, I like to push it into the skin, but first, to give it, you know, good staying power and coverage, I am going to leave it on and let it warm against my skin first. So while I'm doing that, I like to do my brows. I use the NYX Thick It Stick It brow mascara first. This is in Auburn, and I wipe off like a good bit of it and just brush it up and into my eyebrows. And since I don't have as much hair on the end, I kind of focus most of the product at the end. Again, if you are like a low maintenance girly, you might want to just stick to one product. Right now I'm doing 3. So, but I think that's when my eyebrows look the best. Now I'm going to go in to blend this concealer. Again, I'm pushing it in, not swiping, pushing the product in. So that's going to give us the most coverage, and it's going to blend out to look like skin. When you swipe, you tend to get more lines, in my experience anyway. But when you're doing these little bouncy motions, it really pushes everything into the skin. It makes it look like it's part of your skin. And I like this type of brush. It's like a, well, this is a Zoeva brush, but I really like the shape of the brush. What I like to do with my brows, and again, you don't have to do this, what I like to do is go over my brows again with an additional color just to fill in spots that the mascara didn't get. So I'm going to go into this color actually. It's the Grotto in the eyeshadow palette. It is a reddy brown. I usually start from the middle, work my way out, and then brush in the front. Short motions, brushing upwards, and then kind of following the shape of my brow. They're sisters, they're not twins. Get over it. And then what I like to do is I like to set my brows with another. This is another product. This is the Anastasia Beverly Hills Brow Freeze Gel. I got this as a sample from somewhere, I can't remember. I don't know if it was in like some kind of bag, like sample bag I got, like as a gift, a free gift, or what it was. I want to just make sure that they're in the place that I like them. Now that my concealer has been on my face for a while, I'm gonna go back over and dab it to make sure there aren't any, you know, creasing lines. And I like to take my loose setting powder. This one's from AOA. It was, I think, $1 or $1.50. It's actually pretty decent. It's not my favorite, but I'm actually almost out of this, I think. Yeah, just got a little bit left, but it will do. I put it in my lid, swirl it around, and then tap off all the excess. I just use a teeny tiny bit of powder. As you get older, the more powder you use, the more noticeable it is, and the worse it looks. So I'm very strategic about where I place it. I just put it in the places where I tend to crease, I tend to get oily, so like this spot in my forehead, basically my T-zone, and then under my eyes. But I just use, like, I'm still using what was in the lid. So, and then my nose, my upper lip, and down here on my chin and around my mouth. If I need more, I add more. But again, very small layers. Now I'm gonna get my lashes ready, and you don't have to wear lashes. I like to wear lashes. I tend to like these are the Kiss Wispies. I like them because they're long and they're not super curly, they're just fluffy. And they just look very like pretty and natural for me anyway. They're not too dramatic. So these are like good, like everyday lashes in my opinion. Now, a lot of people, when they want to do like a more natural look, they go for the demi wispies, I believe they are. They might, I know that's what the ones in the Ardell are called, Ardell demi wispies. I don't remember what the ones in the Kiss version of those are called. Well, I am putting on some lash glue on my lash line because that always helps with the longevity of my lashes. So while that dries, I'm going to finish my lower lash line. First, I'm going to use my auto liner from LA Girl in Pastel Dream. Or I'm sorry, it's the LA Girl Pastel Dream auto liner in Marshmallow. It's white. And I like to go on my waterline and just right on the lash line. I don't do like too much because then you look a little silly. But I like this as like kind of like a lower lash primer. Again, you don't have to do any of these steps. Just showing you what my attempt at this is. Now I'm going to go into this dark brown Semifreddo. Again, I'm going to dip into it, and then since we are going on the lower lash line, I'm going to just dab a little bit on the cloth and then swipe it on. I kind of dab it on first and then swipe, and then I just continue the process until I build up as much as I want. And that looks pretty good to me. And I do like to connect the top line to the bottom line. So I'm going to go in with this brush and I'm going to wipe it off, but I'm going to go into Vespa and I'm dabbing my brush into it, and I'm going to go right over top of that first color just to blend it out. And I'm taking it a little further than when I took the first color. So a little further inward, not quite to the inner part of my lower lash line, because we're going to leave that for some sparkle. Now I'm going to go into Easy Peasy, the shimmer, with that same brush, and I'm going over top of what I just put down there. I like shimmer on the bottom lash line, sue me. Now I'm going to go into Touring, that lighter shade, that lighter shimmer, We're gonna go into the front portion of my eye and meet up with those other colors. I'm gonna go back into Unexpected from JD Glow. And I'm gonna put that on the front portion of my lower lash line to connect it to the top. So the eyes are pretty much done. I just need to add some mascara. But first, I'm going to bronze up my face, and I'm using the NARS bronzing cream in Laguna. I think it's the lightest shade. And I usually like to use this brush. It's from Japanesque, and it's like a small, like dense brush. And I just kind of swirl it in there, tap, tap, tap. And then I like to do, again, tapping motions and blending up kind of into my hairline almost. Actually, it is into my hairline. And I keep going over it until I don't have any super harsh lines. And I love this because it's so easy to blend this bronzing cream. And it always just looks so like nice and natural on my skin. And it's not too orangey, but it's also not gray. It's like the perfect neutral bronze. Just warms up the skin just a teeny tiny bit. Okay, the blush I'm using is the Colourpop Super Shock Cheek in Birthday Suit. I use a slightly fluffier brush, but it's still kind of dense for these Super Shock cheeks. And I kind of swirl it in there, really get it on the brush, and then I dab. I usually start pretty high and work my way down because I do kind of have like these round cheeks, and while I love them, I also know that adding anything to them is going to make them really just soft tapping motions and then kind of swirling. And these blushes are so nice. Like, every one of them that I've tried, I've really liked. And I think I bought that like for somebody else and then just didn't, kind of like forgot about it. And then I was like, oh, well, I don't talk to them anymore, so it's mine now. Started to put mascara on and then I forgot my highlighter. So I like this Rare Beauty liquid luminizer. Even though I have oily skin, I really like a liquid highlighter. Put a little on my hand and then I swirl it. And then I tap it on. This gives me a lot more control. And then if you want to add more, you can, but I don't like just swiping it on my face because then I feel like if I get too much, it's hard to get it off or hard to blend it in. So I like to blend it in my hand first and then add it to my skin. Okay, mascara. And as always, I love my, what is this, $5 mascara from Essence. It's the Lash Princess mascara, the teal kind. I forget what it's called. I want to use this Makeup by Mario Ultra Suede Sculpting Lip Pencil. This is in Rich Mauve. And I'm lining my lips. I don't like to overline my lips because my bottom lips especially are pretty big. And I just feel like it looks ridiculous. And I also like a natural lip line, at least on me. I am going to use, this is Milani? Yeah, this is a Milani lipstick in Pleasure. It's kind of a creamy matte formula. I'll show you the color. That's the color there. So that's the lip liner and that's the lipstick. It's just a nice soft brown. Because I'm me. I am going to use a little bit of a sparkly gloss, and this is a NYX Gutter. This is a NYX Butter Gloss in Dripped Out, and it's got a little sparkle to it. This could be where I stop, but because I like lashes, I'm putting lashes on. And I like to add a little liner just on the top lash line to kind of blend the line with the lash band. And I just do a thin line, nothing crazy. I wanted to doing, but I don't want to today. Oh, this is my attempt at a natural look. I know it's not for everybody. I know it's still kind of dramatic, but that's who I am. Let me know what other videos you want to see. If you want me to attempt this again with other makeup. Waffle came to see me and say hello. He looked very angry. He's a very angry guy. But thank you for watching. Thank you for watching, and please let me know what you want to see in the comments below. Please make sure you like, subscribe, do all the things I'm supposed to ask you to do to get my videos out there. And I appreciate you all. Thank you, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.